Thank you everybody for joining. Lainey, I know you're the only one here right now, but feel free to run around and explore wherever you want. I put some hidden things around the island for you to find, just 'cause that's kind of a good community thing to do. Awesome. And for everybody here already, the first person that came is my little sister, so she is more familiar with all of the stuff that I'm putting up probably than anybody else. Lainey, you can't cry. That's actually not allowed. Animal Crossing is too cute and wholesome for you to cry. So, unless you recognize the photographs, then you can cry a little bit. And Alyssa, I know you're waiting. I just invited the person before you, so you're gonna be up after they come in. I am just going to run around and show the rest of the island while everybody else is running around and exploring. Everybody else being all three of us. But here is the rest of my island. I've kind of closely modeled it after the roads that I grew up on. It would have been nice to have with me now, but the map looks very similar to Sexton and Adams Road. Sexton Road is the road I grew up on, but it kind of formed just like a big loop. So I made both of them because I spent enough time on both of them. Okay, inviting people. Oh, nice. I'm so glad you guys could come. And the houses that I have on the street actually are meant to evoke the houses that were actually on the street that I had growing up. So there were a few houses on this stretch of the road, but I could only fit one. So the one I chose to do was one I always looked at. It always had a completely blooming front yard. They had so many kinds of plants, there wasn't really a time that they didn't have a whole bunch of flowers or something growing in their yard, and it was just always beautiful to drive by. But this house, I had to get a little creative with. They had so many dogs outside their house. Every time I would walk by it, they would just absolutely go off, so I knew I had to find a way to make a house with a whole bunch of dogs in front of it. And I think it turned out pretty good, even though I like these dogs a lot more. This house was a house that my brother actually used to go hang out at with one of his friends. But their yard was like kind of sandy, kind of grass, and they always had a bunch of toys and stuff out in the yard. And I thought it was just like a nice little thing because I remember it, but my brother probably remembers it a little bit more than I do. This is Egbert. I love him a lot. And if you actually go around and talk to all of the residents on my island, I chose animals that kind of represent the area that I grew up in. So they're all kind of rural. I have 2 chickens, a horse. I could actually just pull up the map. Okay, so I have 2 deer, 2 chickens, 1 cow. Tipper is the love of my life, but so is Poppy. Please close the window. But everybody I chose was a rural animal to try to like fit them in. Thank you, Nelson. I put a lot of work into this. This actually probably took like a month straight of playing anywhere between 5 to 8 hours almost every day. I stayed up way too late. I stayed up until like the 3 a.m. time period most nights. Probably the whole month of June. But I didn't do it alone. One of the best things about Animal Crossing is its community and how willing everybody is to help out. So I made a lot of trades with a lot of just complete strangers who were willing to help me out. Some traders who have had their island for a long time, have collected a lot of items, will bring extras just because they can. And some of those extras ended up being big parts of my island, like the little party light set up in front of my character house. So the community is just wonderful, and if I didn't have the Animal Crossing community to help me kind of bring this to life, this would have taken me maybe at least another month, if not longer. Thank you for joining, Alyssa. And this is actually somebody from the Animal Crossing server. I'm gonna have a few people from that server coming over to hang out as well. Maybe not as many as if I had just posted the dodo code in the actual Discord server, but I didn't want too many strangers coming in here. Unfortunately, even though it is a great community, there are bad apples in every community. Oh, what a cute outfit. Let me pull up my... I don't have my Nintendo Switch app open. Nice. Okay, and then... I love the emotes in this game, they are so wholesome. Thank you! Ooh! Hold on. Amazing. Oh, right, I was giving a tour of the houses. So, this is also a house that I remember really well. There were also a few more houses on this road, but I, you know, had to pick and choose which ones I could bring into the game and into the representation of the roads that I grew up on and everything. This was a house that I went to a lot. as opposed to the other one that my brother went to a lot. This was one of my friends in my grade, and I always went over to swim in her pool and stuff. She had dogs too, but they weren't as out in the yard all the time as these other ones. But they were the only one on the road that had like an actual white picket fence. And it was very dark in comparison to the rest of the road, the rest of the community, I guess. My town hall area, what is this? Is that town hall? Maybe it is. I modeled after this kind of like farm that was on this side of this road. They actually raised goats here, but I couldn't put baby goats all over, so I made it an agricultural like veggie field. But I only planted veggies in the game that can also grow in Florida. So half is tomatoes, half is potatoes. Take some potatoes and tomatoes for yourself. And my island flag, I guess, is a pattern after one of my Mimi's quilts. Julie, I sent you the code to join. I don't know if you got it, but you are up next in queue. There was a stream behind my house that my mom actually carved a path to through the woods with a machete. It was definitely not this close to the back of our house. But I decided to recreate that as well. Someone's on their way here. I hope it's Julie. Awesome. I have comfort sweet tea, actually, Lainey. Oh, hi, Jack. So, the outside of my house is modeled after the house I grew up in. This is a lot fancier than my single wide trailer that I grew up in most of the time. My mom saw this and she said she loved that it was a log cabin. But I did have a bunch of tall grass growing wild all over the yard. And my mom actually built a fire pit. It wasn't one of these fancy like little metal ones that you can buy. She bought a whole bunch of stones from like Lowe's and built her own fire pit. But this was the best I could do in the game. So I am going to take us through the gallery one more time just because a few people have joined. And send the next invite. Ooh, standing in the entryway. So, I didn't talk about or spend a lot of time in this place earlier, but the kind of entry room was a big thing for me to make because it was the most themed that I could make any of the floor level rooms. Although every room does have a toy cockroach in it. Being in Florida, even in the Panhandle, we had palmetto bugs in our house all the time. But if you'll also notice in the corner of each, in like, I think 2 of the corners, not every corner, there is a little spider web. Single wide trailers well-loved single wide trailers may not be the best at keeping out bugs, but I don't know. I think they look pretty homey. It feels better to be in, even in Animal Crossing, to have a few little imperfections as opposed to like a clean little area. So let's go in this middle room first. Oh, and of course the doilies in each little room. Um, just to give a little nod to some of the textile work that I do in my regular practice, and the doilies that are all over both of my grandma's houses. Um, the artwork in here is all photographs from my Nana's house, my mom's mom. It's the last place that I have to go back to from my childhood. Um, it's the last place I can go to really take like really personal pictures of these environments that I'm so familiar with. And the borders on them are frames that I made myself that I captured in the photograph so I could convert into little digital frames for the art pieces. And in each room is also a little music box, and every music box is playing KK Country. I did this a few years ago in 2020 um, because of COVID. Since we were all kind of quarantined to our own spaces, we couldn't go out. I couldn't go to galleries anymore, they weren't open. Um, I wanted to hold an online exhibition just that people could kind of come to and socialize and look at art in a fun new way. And it was really successful. People enjoyed it. Back then, I even put down social distancing squares and people stood on them while they looked at the art. And I really loved that sense of community. This is the textiles room. So these are still photographs, just like the other room, converted to digital designs, but the artwork that I used in the photographs was a combination of straight photos and edited photos of my Mimi's quilts, my dad's mom. Sorry, somebody asked me to join. I've got to let them know they're in the queue. And who's in the queue? Awesome. Okay. Sorry, just had to invite the next person. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the photos, the patterns that you see on top of these photos are from photographs that I took of my Mimi's quilts. So I'm kind of thinking about Southern identity, meshing them together, kind of stuff like that. Thinking about all of our experiences jammed into one visual experience. A fun little thing that I got from one of my trades in the community were these scrapbooks. They were actually kind of hard to find. I don't really know why. You can't interact with them or anything, but I thought they were a fun idea to have just because my mom made so many scrapbooks. I love how crowded it is in here with all of you here. But I have two different kinds of scrapbooks just to keep it kind of thematic. But it's just a nice little touch that I enjoyed, along with the embroidery pieces on all of the walls. And then we have our last little room over here. This is, it's funny because it's kind of experimental art turned into even more experimental art, I guess. These are photographs of used washcloths that I printed photographs onto. But I think the texture came out really interesting in the like translation to Animal Crossing designs. They were really, really fun to put in. Someone's on their way. Maybe. So, the fun thing about this time around for the gallery show is that these designs are all kind of individual squares. So the ones in the room that we're in now are made up of 4 tiles. And the really tall ones that were in the textile-based room are made of 6 tiles. And back in 2020, when I did this as like a little getaway from quarantine thing, there weren't the right items to use to put them on the wall to make it seamless. So there were actually spaces between the designs that I would put on the wall. So instead of being seamless like this, there would be little margins between them. So I was really lucky that between then and now, they created some new items. If anybody is curious as to how I did this, they are glow-in-the-dark stickers, and you can customize them at like Cyrus and Reese's place. And this is all Animal Crossing ease for everybody. But if you use the glow-in-the-dark stickers and customize them with one of your personal patterns, you can do the same thing. I think it would be wonderful to see more virtual galleries in little Animal Crossing spaces. But that is it for now. I'll probably do another little gallery tour later when other people come. But please feel free to run around on the island and pick up items. I put stuff all around for you to find. Talk to all of the residents so that they'll talk to me about you guys. Feel free to go upstairs and downstairs too. Those are just my character bedroom and my funny little basement that I made. I might show those later. Hi Janessa, hi Justin, thank you for joining. I just got done with a little tour of my character house gallery space, so I'm going to go talk about the rest of my island for now, but I will come back to the gallery space. Hi, Amy. Oh, this is one of my favorite parts of this road. It's very simple. But this transition from pavement to dirt road was, I don't know, so important to me. It was like a threshold. And I always got nervous that they would just come in and extend this paved road in front of our house. But the red dirt road was my favorite thing to walk on all the time. I didn't put a lot of other houses on this road. Give me 1 sec to send a dodo code. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, I didn't have enough room to put every house on the road, but there's mine, and then at the end of the road, up a hill, because there was this massive hill on my road that our bus driver would sometimes go a little too fast over, but it was fun when I was a kid. On the corner is a house where somebody was illegally burning trash and started a 100-acre fire. So in the spirit of that, I have a grill, an oil barrel, and a pile of burning leaves, just to keep it real close to home. But they had kids, they had a huge yard, and it was great, other than the fire that happened. And I made sure to have plenty of trees, plenty of moss. If you're gonna take anything, you can take fruits, you can take flowers, you can take the things on the ground. Please don't take my moss. I have a strange and unusual attachment to the moss. And here I have a little campfire. I felt like it would be so appropriate to have one somewhere. Because I sat around like this all the time. I still want to do it. I don't know where I can go to do it in Orlando. And some fishing poles, very appropriate for the theme. And let's see, this house, there's always gonna be some sort of house that has a whole bunch of junk in the yard. Maybe not always, but here there was, and I felt like it needed to be here. It's kind of cool in its own right, even though it's messy and cluttered. I remembered it. So there's something visually intriguing about it, and I'm glad that it's here. Who do I have living here? A dog. And here by the stream I have an alligator living here. Of course, this is Florida. I had to have an alligator. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, that is awesome. I'm going to go put that down right now. I have a moss field. This wasn't on my road. I did take some creative liberties, but of course I had to. Like for instance, these houses were not this close to each other. In real life, this was a lot farther from this other house, and this was actually a horse field. But I was running out of room, so I just made it kind of a little farmhouse. And I am at full capacity right now. So if any of you are done visiting and don't want to hang around on the island anymore, that's totally fine. But right now I can't advance the queue any further. So I just have some people waiting to join. But in the meantime, I'll show you Tipper. Love of my life, Tipper. I can't talk to her. There we go. And for everybody who's unfamiliar with Animal Crossing, each villager has their own type of personality. I don't remember how many personalities there are, so Animal Crossing players don't come at me. But I really enjoy all their different personalities, and I actually made sure to have one type of each personality on my island, just to kind of make it a little well-rounded community. Tipper, for example, is snooty, so she can pretend that she's very elegant, but she loses her items just like everybody else on the island sometimes does. And up here is also where I had to take some creative liberties. Of course, we didn't have a shopping center like this in my home growing up, but I had to have somewhere to put these, so I tried to theme it how I thought it might fit in the best. And oh yes, there were so many fields off of the main road. So I treated this little stretch of road at the top like the main road, and made a sugarcane field. I cannot tell you how often I have chewed on sugarcane straight out of the field. You can have your own feelings about that, but I thought it was fantastic. Up here is an amazing feat. I got all my rocks in the same place. People who play Animal Crossing will know how hard that can be, and how much time that took. This is one of my favorite places, though. I had to have a bonfire somewhere. Not right next to one of the houses, so this is reminiscent of one of the ponds that was on my road, that we had bonfires at frequently with my church youth group. Burn down villagers? Well, I think the nice answer would be no. But I was villager hunting the other day, and one of them moved in that I didn't want to move in, because I got my timing wrong while time traveling. It was Apple, a sweet little red hamster, and I was very mad about it. So I want to say the answer is a soft yes. Not a hard yes, but a soft yes. After this, I will go ahead and run back to my gallery space so I can show it off a little bit more. You know, it's there. This purple flower field is mostly a filler, but it does have a funny story behind it. There were these little wild purple flowers that would grow on the side of the road just everywhere while I was growing up, and what I would do is I would see them, immediately pick them, and they grew in bunches. It wasn't like one flower per stem. And I would take them out of the stem to where I could see the little white sugary part, and I would chew on that like a little animal. So I put purple flowers, a field of purple flowers, um, on my island as a nod to that. And this is really exciting to be doing again. What's a relocator? I think that's the first title that you get when you first make an island. So this is either somebody who has a pretty new island or somebody who has never bothered to change their title. I don't remember what my title is. I think it's homemade artist. Oh, right. Like I was saying earlier, I really enjoyed doing this in 2020 and creating like this little community and little event that I am not aware of existing before. Especially because my love for like video games is flightless person. My love for video games is entrenched in family habits. My dad has been a gamer for as long as I have been sentient, and he definitely got me into it. But also, like, as a rural person, like, living on a dirt road, like, 30 minutes from the closest Walmart, 20 minutes from the closest gas station, video games were a way either to escape when I didn't have a lot else to do, or to reach out eventually. When I was pretty young, like the early years of my life, it was more of an escape. Because online communities weren't as accessible yet to children. But eventually when I was in my like teenage years and preteen years, oh, hello. In my teenage years, I kind of found a lot of community that I didn't have otherwise in gaming. In online communities in general, but also just in gaming. And I've invited one more person, Josette. I just sent you the code, and after you come in, I will go through another gallery. Gallery tour. This is what makes Animal Crossing great, is the circles. Okay. Let's see. I don't have anything else that's like unique to just my town. But since it is pretty Florida Southern core, I did have to put a bunch of beach stuff on this little part right here. Oh my gosh, I love that froggy shirt. You have time. You have time to find something to wear. Thank you, Nelson. Okay. I love that it's getting darker in the game. As it's faster than it's getting darker outside, but at the same time nonetheless. Nice. And I love all these Jacob's ladders, but I'm a time traveler, y'all, okay? For everybody in Animal Crossing who knows what these are, it's because I've time traveled. Oh. I'm always afraid to breathe when somebody's trying to visit or trying to leave. Nelson, I really didn't know if you were ever going to be able to leave. I'm glad you made it out. Hi, Stacy. Okay, let's go through this again for everybody that's joined and that's still waiting. Oh, wait, okay, so I can send Vic, you are going to be up next. And I just sent you the dodo code. Okay, so I'm gonna go here first. And I just want to, like I was saying, it's going to be here. It doesn't have to go anywhere. It's digital. It's not taking up any space. I want to hold on to this as long as I can. So if there's anybody who doesn't have the game that would want me to like do a private tour for them, I could do like a private stream, like a Zoom call or something like that. If somebody has the game and wants to visit, just like a one-on-one and come look at the art, talk about the art, just hang out, I can do that too by appointment. It doesn't have to be tonight. It can be any time in the future as well, as long as I can record it. Abby, it took me just to terraform. I shouldn't say just to terraform. I don't know how long it took for the terraforming specifically, and for everybody who doesn't know, in Animal Crossing, your island starts with a lot of rivers and cliffs. So if you want to change the landscape, you have to unlock a terraforming app, and then you have to like do all of it real time. And I'll have clips of that in the future on my Instagram. But I would say it took me about a month straight of playing the game for anywhere between, earlier I said between like 5 to 8 hours a day. It might not have been that often, but that's not a huge exaggeration. It might be like a small exaggeration, but I really was constantly playing between like the end of May and the beginning of July to get this done. And I said this before too, but I could not have done it in that time frame without the Animal Crossing community. Community is a big reason why I wanted to do this in general. But a lot of trades helped me get everything that I needed. Like, I couldn't have had all these toy cockroaches in each room. I couldn't have had the lace rugs that I have in each room. Um, all the moss on my island was trades. It would have taken me such a long time to get that on my own without people helping me. But even with people helping me, it took about a month of constant playing. Thank you everybody for being here. I really enjoy sharing this with everybody. Um, Even in the format of a game that everybody doesn't have access to, it's really cool that I can share it here with the people who can't visit like the in-game event. Um, so for everybody who wasn't here for the last little run through I did of this, this room is kind of my textiles based room. We have a lot of people coming and going. Another fantastic thing about Animal Crossing for the people who don't play it is the customization of your character. Um, there isn't an overwhelming, there aren't an overwhelming amount of options as far as like eye color, hairstyles, skin color, and stuff like that, but there are enough. And the clothes really help to be able to like make an avatar of yourself. However, I will say that I did design this dress. Thinking about something that I would wear in real life, I did make a few cute little southern dress designs to better represent my character. But in this room, like I was saying, it's kind of my sewing craft oriented room. The art, the art on the wall is made of photographs. All the art in here is made from my real life art converted into designs in game. Um, and these photographs are in real life a straight photograph with a plastic sheet on top that has a print of my Mimi's quilts. And it's kind of, they're photographs from my mom's house and quilts from my dad's mom's house. And not pictured here in this gallery, they're also in frames that I built myself. So it's kind of like a combining of family experiences and like Southern iconography and stuff like that. And now it's been retranslated into Animal Crossing art. Thank you for coming, Julie. Amy, after this, I'm gonna see if I'm still at capacity or not, and if I'm not, you'll be getting a code. I have not been keeping track of numbers. Well, I hope you didn't cry too much, Lainey, but I'm really glad that you could come. Everybody who wasn't here when I said it earlier, in the chat, Baby Bug is my little sister. And she was the first one to come to the event tonight, and it's very special to me because she knows all this more than almost anybody else could, other than like my mom or my brother. actually don't know how to check how many people are here right now. I can't remember if there is anybody else trying to come right now. Is anybody else trying to leave before I send out another code? Alright, Amy, I'm sending it your way right now. After this, then. Okay. Brian, since you just joined, I just left this room, but I'll go back in so I can show that off one more time while people are still coming and going. Oh, thank you, Melissa. Oh, I'm so glad the whole family's there to see it. It's interesting the abstraction that happens in the photographs. A lot of you may have seen these in person as well. So the translation is really cool to show off, and I'm interested in what might happen if I try to do this again with images that are already a little bit deteriorated in real life. I think this one may have translated the best. This one, or there's one really good one in each room. I love all of them, but I would say this one on this wall translated the best. And of course I had to have my little sewing box in here since this is the textiles room. Oh, Nelson, that's really interesting to know. And in here, again, we've got the straight photographs from my mom's house, my Nana's house, really Nana and Pawpaw's house. It's not fair to just call it Nana's house. But pictured in these are the frames that I made for them. The pictures in the other room have similar frames, they just weren't in the photographs that I used for the designs. But I thought it would be interesting to like have the idea of a frame on some of my images for the purpose of making it like a gallery wall. I can't wait for everybody to have their own little fashion walk. So I am recording all of this, and it's going to be made into little clips like the ones I've been posting leading up to this opening. So everybody walking in right here on their little airplane ride, I'm going to make a little fashion walk of everybody that's visited from this event, but also from everybody who helped me build up my island. So just another like slow look at this room. I've got laundry house and shed right here. The glare can be a little bad from the overhead lights in the game. This one translated really well. I thought it might not translate that well, but the whites and the red of this little barn shed over here came out so beautifully. The heater on the wall. This is just called heater. Um, but I think this one came out beautifully as well. I'm gonna say that about all of them. And over here is the piano wall. It gets a little lost in translation, I think, but somebody who doesn't know what this looks like. Someone quietly left. Interesting. I hope everybody's not getting kicked out. I didn't talk about this one since a few more people showed up. This isn't necessarily any of my real life art, but I did treat it like part of the project in that I kind of made it this comfy, domestic, southern coated space. Of course I have the doilies on the ground, I have these patterned couches. I had one very similar to it, except it was like iron instead of wood. But we also had palmetto bugs. So I made sure to have a toy cockroach in each room because these are fashioned very much like palmetto bugs, especially because of how big they are. Let me do a close-up for you. Just for funsies. Please close the window. Well, there he is. I invite somebody and then get sad when I have to close my camera. But in the corners of the rooms, also, when we get back, you'll be able to see spider webs. Oh yes, art school intellectual, absolutely. When we get back, we'll also be able to see the spider webs in the corners. I kind of said this earlier, but it feels more comfortable to be in, even though it's in the video game, when there's a little bit of something wrong, or imperfections, or it's not completely clean. I'm not afraid to move around in it, and I feel the same in real life. Wow. Then, in this last room... Thank you, Josette. In this last room, we have my used washcloth photographs. We have Hayfield here. A cockroach. Sexton Road, the road that the opening is named after, actually. And New Harmony Baptist Church. I really love how the cross came out in this one. I was afraid because it was going to be on the seams right there in the middle, but it came out really well. And for those of you who don't know, these are photographs that I iron transferred onto used washcloths of my own. And these are the representation of those in Animal Crossing format. Nice. But Tony, I think, is my last guest for right now. If anybody else watching has the game, and would like to join, there's still time. I did plan on having this open until at least 8 o'clock. But I would also love if anybody has any questions, if anybody wants me to go through anything again. It's been a minute since I've run around the island, so I can do that and show the roads that I recreated. Oh, let me show you guys, because I haven't shown it on stream, but some people have seen it anyway. Amy! You're in my bed. Anyway, this is my bedroom that I made for myself. I've definitely never had anything like this. This feels like a studio apartment in a way. But it's very true to myself and my personality. And I worked very hard to get this patchwork bed specifically because it looks like it has a quilt on it, and it's really cute, and it reminds me of the quilts that my grandmas both make. Thank you, Nelson. Alright, and down here is my basement. I have lived in Florida my whole life. I have never had a basement. I don't even know if I've been in a basement. So my only reference for basements is people being afraid of them in movies. So I have made a semi-put together creepy little basement. And I'm in love with it. But this is the gallery. So I will do one more run through of the roads that I made. And the moss that I put down is glowing moss and lights up once it gets dark outside. So this is the part of the road that I grew up on. The Nana's outfit. I don't know that I'm not sure what you're asking, actually. Thank you, Abby. I worked very hard on it. Oh, those are my wand outfits. That's hilarious. Yeah, so let me actually go through those on screen before I start running around outside, after our guest leaves. It's funny that those outfits are in my fridge. I can change clothes if I go to my fridge. Okay, let's see. There's some good lighting here. So... I have a fun outfit, and it's Brog. And everybody's gotta have at least one fun outfit on their outfit wand, because it's Animal Crossing law. But after that, I have my photographer attire, of course, all black, and my toolbox. Surprise Tony in the corner. I have teen core, reminiscent of when I used to draw cat whiskers on my face with eyeliner and wear ripped jeans. Sunday best, to harken back to when I would dress up for church every Sunday and every Wednesday night. But I would still wear this. And this outfit, like Nana, I'm wearing my work boots, I'm wearing my overalls, and I'm wearing my bandana. The first time I ever wore an overalls outfit to my Nana's house, she gasped. She was like, that's like something I would wear when I was your age. So I kind of fell in love with wearing overalls because they made me think of my Nana. And when I cut my hair short, I started wearing bandanas. And the first time my mom saw me wearing a bandana, she told me that Nana used to wear bandanas like Nana in a bandana. She used to wear bandanas like that when she was raising my mom. So this is my Nana outfit. And the fun thing is, if you put my senior portrait next to her senior portrait, we look very, very, very similar. We could be the same person. So this was just kind of an endearing outfit that I had to put up my wand. Thank you, Amy. And even though I am a UCF student, my dad is a diehard FSU fan. So when I found these clothes, I knew what I had to put together. So this outfit is for my dad. And I don't use these outfits a lot. When you're using a wand outfit, there are a lot of things in the game that you can't do. So I don't wear it most of the time, and I revert to my default outfit. But all those outfits kind of have a relationship to how I see myself, how I have seen myself in the past, and how I relate to members of my family and stuff. So those outfits are really fun. I'm glad you asked about it, Vic. Thank you. But let me go run around the island one more time. I don't know how many people are here that haven't seen the whole island, but I will do one more run around just for funsies. This is a house that's supposed to represent this house that used to be on this stretch of the road that was always for for rent, and it was never clean. I always wanted it to be because I loved to walk down this part of the road. I would walk to this curve right here and then back to my house. But this house was always a little scary to walk past just because there would be a new dog there every so often. So I kind of recreated it into something nice just because I could. But there was a house here, so it's still a reference to how the road actually was. And the white swing here is actually a nod to a swing I think that my papa built when he and my Mimi still lived at their first house that I knew. And I would sit on the swing with my Mimi, and she would sing swing, swing the whole time. And that's what I think about every time I see a little white swing set. I love it so much. And of course I had to have palm tree lamps by the entrance, because everybody thinks of palm trees when you think of Florida. My Nana, although she lives right on the Florida-Alabama line, nowhere near the beach, Florida decided to put palm trees right in front of her house. So there's a huge field, 2 palm trees, and then my Nana's old house with a barn behind it. It's hilarious, it's frustrating, but there are palm trees here because of it. And then we've got Boots here, my token Florida alligator. And of course, this little white picket fence house, my friend's house, Savannah, used to come over here and swim all the time. They had a beautiful yard. They were good at keeping it looking nice and everything, so they would always have birthday parties here, and it was a really fun time. And this over here is a little farm. It had goats on it, really. It wasn't really like a vegetable farm or anything like that, but I didn't have a whole bunch of goats that I could put everywhere, and I didn't want my town to be all goats. So I made it a vegetable field, but it is tomatoes and potatoes, both grow in Florida, and I wanted to make sure that it was something that would like actually grow where I was from. And all the animals hang out here since it is right in front of Town Hall, so it is still kind of like an animal field too. And then behind Savannah's house is this silly little house. Every time I would walk by it, they had a whole bunch of dog kennels in the backyard. So every time I would walk past it with my mom, by myself, it doesn't matter, these dogs would be going off. So I had to make this corner house the dog house. And these are little toy dogs that you can like turn on and off, but they are so cute, and I'm so glad that I could recreate this little house. And then here is a house that my brother used to go to. He had a friend that lived here, and he would bike all the way from our house to this one just to hang out. And their house was always like, it had a bunch of toys and stuff outside. They had, I think, 5 kids there. So there was always stuff strewn about the yard. It was kind of half sand, half grass, the kind of way that some Florida is, especially in the Panhandle. So I made this little grid pattern to show that it was kind of a patchy little yard, but I think it was in an endearing way. And here is this yard that I really love. I think about it really, really fondly. They always had a whole bunch of different kinds of bushes and flowers and trees growing in their yard. And there were a lot of houses on this strip of the road. I only had room for one though, so I wanted to make the one that I remembered the most. It didn't matter what time of the year it was. They always had something blooming, even if it was only a little bit. So it was like just the most beautiful house on this stretch of road. And then this is technically the end of Sexton Road. And then here, if you go across and do the loop, this is the start of Adams Road. It just created this big circle. I love this random peach on the ground. This wasn't a cute little farmhouse in real life. It was actually a whole field for horses. But I didn't have that much room, so I kind of just made a cute little southern house with a little wheat field and peach trees. I put peach trees here because my boyfriend actually growing up had peach trees in his yard. And he didn't grow up too far away from me, maybe an hour and a little bit closer to the coast. So I wanted to put some peach trees up here. And this house was kind of hard to decide how to represent, but I know they were working people. They always had a lot of stuff in their yard, and they had hunting dogs that would chase me if I rode my bike past the house. But I think it's true to like how I remember it, but I don't know how accurate that is, if that makes sense. I guess I can get changed at this artisanal bug cage but I don't think I want to put on bug clothes right now. And let's see, there's not a whole lot more. There is this house right here. There was, I think this is a stand-in for my bus driver's house. When I was growing up, my mom worked a lot, and she would be gone sometimes really early in the morning before the bus got there and before the sun even came up, and I would get a little scared of the dark and scared of being by myself. So she would drop me off at my bus driver's house. So I wanted to make the outside of this house really comfy and cozy because it was like a safe space for me. So I've got like these fishing rods and a cooler to put your fish in after you're done fishing, and a cute little campsite to just chill at, because I spent time at a ton of these. And let's see. This house I also talked a little bit about earlier, but it was always really, really cluttered outside. Yeah, actually, I don't remember, I think her name was Miss Andrea, but she had horses too, and she was really nice. But here, I appreciate this and how cluttered it looks, and it was really fun to make, but I actually have horrible memories of this house, because the girl that lived there used to like bully me, and her name was also Brittany. But I don't know, I felt it was so important I wanted to put it in here anyway, if that makes sense. Yeah. And then, let's see. We also have this house down at the end here on this curve. I talked a little bit about it earlier as well, but this house is where a guy who was burning trash illegally started a 100-acre fire. Luckily, it was on the other side of the road from our house, so it didn't go that way. But it was very scary coming up to our little dirt road with a bunch of fire trucks on it. So, in honor of that, I have a grill, an oil barrel, and a pile of leaves on fire to pay to do a little nod to that. And a fun fact about that is it was a cop living on the corner who was illegally burning trash. So just to be a little tongue-in-cheek, I put a red, white, and blue lawn chair in the yard. And save for a few other cute little areas like this park that I've put in on the edge, and the bonfire up at the top. Those are the recreations of the roads that I grew up on. Everything else is pure Animal Crossing. Yes, Vic, that is true. It's a 100% true story. It made my mom laugh very hard when I showed her that little space. And I have my cute little bonfire space right across from a pond. It's not in the same area, but it is reminiscent of a pond that my youth group used to have bonfires by while I was growing up. And of course I had to have somewhere to put my campsite, so I just made a nice little flower field. But that is pretty much it. And I'm really proud of it. It took a long time to make, but I think it was worth it. Especially because all you guys came out. But for now, I will hang out dancing by my house. If anybody has any questions, and y'all are free to hang out. Oh, I'm back by my house. Tour completed.